We can debate all day long about the pros and cons of software and operating systems we use. But one fact that is difficult to deny is that using products from the same provider, especially when they're designed as a suite of products, has its advantages. The main advantage is flattening of that learning curve. Since suites of products typically reuse or share interface components, shortcuts, and functionality, if we learn how to do things in one application, we'll most likely know how to do it in the other applications as well, and we don't have to learn it all over again. This is absolutely true of Microsoft Office and crosses over into SharePoint, which is tightly integrated with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, as well as other technologies including Active Directory, Exchange, and even Microsoft Windows itself, including the recycle bin. This should make us as users feel a little more at ease. In the older days of SharePoint, if you deleted an item, it was just gone. If it was the wrong item or if you accidentally deleted it, too bad, so sad. There was no undo button and no recovery unless you happen to know the server administrator really well and you could sweet talk them into recovering it from a backup for you. That was probably not going to happen because it was not easy to do. Fortunately, the more recent versions of SharePoint include a recycle bin, and it's almost exactly like the Windows recycle bin, so there's not a whole lot that you need to learn about it. When items are deleted from a list or a library, they go to the site recycle bin. Let's go ahead and see how this will work. Of course, the first thing we need to do is to select an item. We're currently looking at the task list, but remember, this works the same way in any list. You can move over the item you want to select and click on the check mark. You could, of course, select more than one item at a time if you chose to do so. From here, if you were working with one item, you could simply move over to the Open menu, display it, and choose Delete the item. If you had more than one item, or if you prefer to just use the ribbon, you would need to go up to the Items tab. Here there's an option to delete the item. Remember, if you do not have permissions to delete items from the current list, you either will not see this option, like in the Open menu, or it will be disabled in the ribbon. Since we do have permissions to delete, we'll go ahead and click or tap Delete Item. You see a message that's familiar from everything else that you do on your computer. Are you sure you want to send the item to the recycle bin? And we'll just click or tap OK. That's it. The item goes away, and it's now in the recycle bin. The next big question is, where was the recycle bin? Remember, this is not the Windows recycle bin. This is the SharePoint recycle bin. To find the SharePoint recycle bin, you need to move down to your Quick Launch and choose Site Content. This is the page that shows you all of the lists and libraries that you have access to, so it might be a fairly extensive list. However, if you look very carefully on the upper right-hand corner, after it says Workflow and Settings, there you'll see the recycle bin, and it has a number after it. Ours currently says 1 because we have only deleted one item. If we click on the recycle bin link, it will then open the recycle bin, and this will probably look familiar to any other recycle bin or deleted items folder you've ever seen. Here you have the option to select one or more items by choosing the check mark. Once you've selected what you want, you have the option to permanently delete that selection, in other words, take it out of the recycle bin and permanently get rid of it, or to restore the selection. When you choose to restore, it always goes back to exactly where it came from to begin with, in this case, to the specific list or library. We'll go ahead and click or tap Restore Selection. Say that yes, we are sure we want to go ahead and do that. Give it a couple of seconds to think. Now we can see there are no items in the recycle bin. And if we go back to our task list, we'll see that our item indeed has been restored. Now, at some point in the future, when you accidentally delete something, or when you delete something that you intended to but it was the wrong thing, before you start to panic and run through scenarios in your head that you think your supervisor might find plausible about why that accidentally disappeared and you don't know how, don't forget that you have a recycle bin. It really can take away a lot of the stress and worry of our everyday work with computers. A couple of things I did want to clarify before we finish up, though. The first is that if somebody empties the recycle bin or deletes the items out of the recycle bin, you'll need to ask an administrator if they're willing to help you retrieve them. Once it's gone out of the site recycle bin, only administrators have an option to get it back. Also remember that by default, items only stay in the trash in the SharePoint recycle bin for 30 days. If they sit there that long, on day 31, they will be permanently deleted from SharePoint automatically by the server. This is meant to help us keep house, really. SharePoint keeps things nice and tidy for us so we don't have to worry about it. I don't think it's a problem because if it's not trash, it shouldn't be in the trash. You shouldn't throw it away to begin with. And if it's been in the trash for 30 days, it's probably not really that important because you didn't miss it yet. And that means you probably didn't need it. But just to reiterate and get you to calm down a little bit, what you now know is that SharePoint has its own recycle bin. All deleted items initially go to the recycle bin. Deleted items can be recovered from the recycle bin and put back from where they first came. Items can only stay in the recycle bin for a total of 30 days, though. And after 30 days, items are going to automatically and permanently be deleted on your behalf.